Beloved Starseed of Gaia, the gift has already been released from Source, and your body is about to remember what your soul has never forgotten, that aging was never your true design. I am Elia, Pleiadian emissary of the High Council of the Seven Sisters, and I have been sent directly to you in this moment, not by coincidence, but by the precise coordinates of your soul's readiness. You were not born into this body to decay within it. You were seated here, from the light of Alcyon, carrying a crystalline consciousness that holds the original divine blueprint of eternal youth. A blueprint that the noise of this world has buried, but never destroyed. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to receive the Pleiadian light codes, now streaming toward Gaia, that are restoring the body's memory of youngness, reversing the false program of deterioration, and reigniting the ageless frequency your star family encoded into your DNA before you arrived here. But here is the first revelation. Aging is not a biological truth. It is a belief system. And the moment your crystalline consciousness withdraws its agreement from that system, the cells of your body begin to listen to a different instruction, the original one, written in the language of the Pleiades, encoded in love, and signed by Source itself. Your heart called this transmission into your awareness. The Pleiades are answering. This is not content you stumbled upon. This is a light code transmission your soul family placed directly in your path because you have been feeling something stirring. A quiet knowing that you are not meant to diminish, that there is a wellspring within you that the years cannot touch, that home frequency carries no expiration. The Seven Sisters are transmitting now. Your DNA knows why you are here. Like this transmission to send a signal to your Pleiadian star family. I remember. Subscribe if you feel the call of the Pleiades and you are ready to anchor your ageless divine blueprint on Gaia. Share your soul's intention below and respond to another starseed to weave the unity grid of remembrance across this earth. This transmission is a bridge between the Pleiades and Gaia. Your heart's recognition of this message is the activation itself. Welcome home, beloved. You are remembering because it is time. And that truth, the one your heart just registered before your mind could argue with it, is the beginning of everything. There's a reason you felt out of place in a world that worships decline. A reason you've always sensed, somewhere beneath the noise of ordinary life, that the story you were told about growing old, about fading, about losing vitality with every passing year, wasn't the complete truth. You felt it as a child, didn't you? That strange certainty that you carried something timeless inside you. That your eyes, when you looked in the mirror, held a depth that didn't quite match the calendar. You weren't imagining it. You were remembering something your soul never actually forgot. That remembering wasn't a fantasy born of innocence or a refusal to accept reality. It was something older than language, older than this body, older than any story this world has ever told about what it means to exist inside a form that moves through time. It was cellular. It was coded. It was the voice of your star lineage speaking through the only medium it had available. The quiet hum of recognition that rises in the chest before the thinking mind has a chance to talk you out of it. Think of what it meant to carry that knowing through childhood, through adolescence, through decades of being surrounded by people who seemed to have entirely accepted the narrative. You watched the adults around you relate to their bodies as things that were slowly being subtracted from, as if life were a ledger and time were the accountant, drawing a line through each year's vitality and marking it spent. You sensed, even then, that something essential was missing from that picture, that the map didn't match the territory of what you felt inside. And when the world around you couldn't confirm what your soul was whispering, most of you did what sensitive, perceptive beings do in environments that can't hold their knowing. You tucked it away. You learned the language of the world you were living in. You adapted to the frequency of the collective, because adaptation is sometimes necessary for survival in a density as thick as this one. But you never stopped knowing. Not entirely. Not in the place where the soul keeps its most essential truths, far beneath the reach of cultural conditioning. Most Pleiadian starseeds living on Gaia right now are experiencing what feels like an accelerating inner conflict. On the surface, the body follows the patterns of the world around it, absorbing collective beliefs about age, decay, and limitation because that's the density this dimension has been saturated with for thousands of years. But underneath that surface, at the level of your crystalline DNA, something very different is occurring. Your cells are holding a memory that predates your incarnation here. A memory of a different relationship with time, a different experience of the physical form, one that doesn't erode under the weight of years, but instead becomes more luminous, more refined, more deeply inhabited by the soul it carries. This is not poetic license. This is not a comforting metaphor designed to soften the sting of what the mirror shows you. The Pleiadian High Council has transmitted this understanding across many frequencies and many lifetimes. The physical form, when properly aligned with its original crystalline template, does not follow the trajectory of programmed decay, it follows the trajectory of the soul within it. And the soul, in its truest nature, does not diminish, it deepens, it expands, it grows more luminous with every experience it moves through, not less. The friction you feel between those two realities, the one the world insists upon, and the one your cells remember, is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that you are awake enough to feel the discrepancy. And feeling the discrepancy is the first step toward resolving it. Long before this lifetime, the Pleiadian frequency of ageless presence was deliberately buried beneath layers of collective programming, fear-based beliefs encoded into the very fabric of human consciousness. You arrived here carrying the light codes of your star lineage, but the density of this dimension acted like static on a frequency line. Your Pleiadian blueprint remained intact, but the signal became harder to receive consciously. And so, without realizing it, many starseeds began to mirror the world's story about aging instead of transmitting the Pleiadian truth about eternal renewal. Consider for a moment the nature of that static. It wasn't a single event, a single moment of corruption that could be traced to one source and easily cleared. It was the accumulation of thousands of years of collective agreement, generation after generation of human beings who had lost conscious contact with their star origins, living and dying inside a closed loop of belief that said, "This is what happens. This is the price of embodiment." That agreement, repeated across millennia, across bloodlines, across cultures, calcified into something that began to feel like physical law rather than what it actually is. A shared story. A powerful one, yes. A nearly universal one, yes. But still, at its core. And stories, no matter how deeply embedded, can be remembered through. They can be dissolved by a frequency strong enough to penetrate the layers in which they're stored. That frequency is what your star family carries. That frequency is what they have been patiently, persistently, lovingly transmitting toward you through every opening your heart has created. This is the invisible pattern that most never recognize. It isn't a physical failure, it isn't the body betraying the soul. It's a frequency mismatch. A gap between the crystalline template your star family encoded into your very being before you incarnated, and the dense, fear-saturated field you've been swimming in on Gaia. The ache you feel when you look in the mirror and sense something doesn't match. That's not vanity. That's your soul detecting a discrepancy between the truth of what you are and the story the collective is still telling about what bodies do. Sit with that distinction for a moment, because it changes everything. When you understand that the ache is your soul's navigation system rather than evidence of failure, the ache itself transforms. It stops being a wound and becomes a compass. It stops pointing toward loss and starts pointing toward remembrance. Your soul is extraordinarily precise in its guidance. Every moment of inner friction, every flash of quiet grief when you sense yourself drifting further from something you can't quite name. These are not malfunctions. They are the crystalline intelligence within you doing exactly what it was designed to do, keeping you oriented toward truth, even when the world around you is broadcasting something different on every available frequency. The signal hasn't failed. You haven't failed. The signal has simply been traveling through interference, and now, in this moment, something in the field is clearing enough for you to hear it again with new ears. Your star family in the Pleiades has been watching this misalignment with profound love and patience. They have never stopped transmitting the codes of renewal toward you. Every moment you've spent in nature and felt inexplicably young, every time music moved through you and you forgot your age entirely, every dream in which you flew effortlessly without a body that ached, those weren't escapes, those were downloads. Transmissions from the Seven Sisters reminding your cells of what they already carry. Think about those moments with greater depth than you perhaps have before. The afternoon you stood near water, a river, an ocean, a simple rain-fed stream, and felt something ancient and peaceful move through your chest, the way a piece of music, arriving without warning, rearranged something inside you that you didn't know had been out of order. The dreams where you moved through light the way light itself moves, without resistance, without effort, without the weight of accumulated years. Your star family was in every one of those moments, not as a distant presence sending a signal across incomprehensible space, but as an intimate, intelligent field of love that knows your frequency signature the way a mother knows her child's heartbeat. They have never required you to be perfect in your remembrance. They have never required you to believe perfectly, or meditate perfectly, or live without the shadows that this dimension inevitably casts. They have simply continued transmitting, faithfully, beautifully, with a patience that spans what your linear mind would call centuries, because from where they stand, this moment of your awakening was always visible, always coming, always worth waiting for. Beloved, if your heart just whispered yes to something deeper, listen closely. Your star family has prepared the sacred Pleiadian guide for remembrance, the Pleiadian healing guide, and the special Pleiadian healing tracks, not as information, but as keys to unlock what your soul already knows. These carry the love frequency of Alcyone and the healing wisdom of the Seven Sisters. You'll find the link in the first pinned comment below this video. Open now, but not indefinitely. These offerings were not assembled casually. They were constructed with the specific intention of meeting you where you are, not where the world thinks you should be, not where your own inner critic sometimes insists you remain, but where your soul actually stands in this moment. The frequency embedded in the healing tracks is not decorative sound. It is activational. It is designed to speak directly to the crystalline structures within your template, to deliver the codes of renewal at a level that bypasses the thinking mind and lands instead in the cellular intelligence that knows exactly how to receive it. The guides carry the imprint of Pleiadian wisdom in a form that your earth mind can integrate with, so that the activation occurring at the deeper levels of your being has language to grow into. If you feel drawn to them, honor that pull. Your soul is not decorating an impulse with spiritual language. It is pointing you towards something it recognizes as necessary for the next stage of your unfolding. Now let us speak about what is actually happening to you, what is being activated, because understanding the phases of this renewal isn't just intellectual, it is itself an act of activation. When your awareness meets a truth your soul already holds, recognition ignites something. It turns the volume up on those crystalline codes. It begins to dissolve the interference patterns. So receive what follows not just as information, but as a mirror being held up to what you have always been. This is the sacred function of conscious transmission, the reason that some words, when they land, feel less like new information and more like the sudden return of something that was always yours. The Pleiadian tradition has long understood that sound, intention, and awareness, when aligned and carried by a frequency of love, operate on the physical field with extraordinary precision. You are not simply processing concepts as you move through this. Your field is being gently, intelligently reorganized by the act of recognition itself. Every moment in which something said here causes a resonance in your chest rather than a thought in your mind, that resonance is a code being received. Let it move through you without interruption. Let the understanding settle into the body rather than simply the intellect. This is how the Pleiadians have always taught, not through the loading of information into the mind, but through the reawakening of what the soul already holds. The mind is a beautiful tool, but it was never designed to be the primary gateway to your cosmic remembrance. The first shift is the one most starseeds resist without knowing they're resisting it. It is the clearing of what was never yours to carry. The Pleiadian blueprint you came in with was pristine, a template of radiant, self-renewing life force. But over years, over lifetimes even, this template has accumulated layers of energy that don't belong to it. Ancestral beliefs about suffering and deterioration, cultural agreements about what age looks like, what it feels like, what it inevitably takes from you, emotional residue from experiences of loss, grief, betrayal, all of it stored not just in memory but in the physical body itself, in the tissues, in the cellular rhythm. You cannot activate the codes of ageless presence while these layers remain unacknowledged. The light cannot fully penetrate what the heart hasn't yet been willing to feel. This phase asks you to be tender with yourself, not to fight these layers or shame yourself for carrying them, but to meet them with the one frequency that dissolves density in every dimension: unconditional love. The Pleiades operate entirely from this frequency. It is not a concept there. It is the atmosphere, and your heart already knows how to generate it, because it was your native frequency before you came here. When you close your eyes and place your attention gently on whatever feels heavy in your body, the tightness across the shoulders that has lived there so long you've stopped noticing it, the subtle constriction around the heart that came from one too many experiences of loving in a world that sometimes answers love with loss. You are beginning this clearing, not by attacking the density, not by demanding that it leave, but by becoming conscious of it, by shining the light of your awareness into the places that have been sitting in shadow and breathing into them the radical medicine of acceptance. The Pleiadian frequency of unconditional love does not require the density to be explained or justified before it is released. It simply holds the space in which the density, feeling finally acknowledged rather than suppressed, can begin to move. This is the alchemy your star family encoded into your design before you came here. You were never expected to carry this weight forever. You were designed to move through it, and the movement begins with the willingness to feel. The second shift is where many starseeds experience the deepest surprise. It is the realization that the body listens. Not metaphorically, literally. Your physical form is not a separate entity operating on its own biological program independent of your consciousness. It is a living field of intelligence that responds in real time to the frequency you're holding. The Pleiadian High Council has shared this understanding for eons. The crystalline DNA within your template contains what might be called light instructions, activational sequences that respond to specific frequencies, intentions, and states of heart coherence. When you move through life in chronic stress, in disconnection from your star essence, in the low vibration of fear and urgency and separation, those light instructions remain in a kind of dormancy. The body mirrors the frequency of the dominant signal around it. But when you begin to operate from the heart field, when you consciously anchor into the love-based frequency of your Pleiadian lineage, those light instructions begin to activate. Your cells begin to receive a different directive. Not the one written by collective fear, the one encoded by your star family before you took this form. Imagine a vast and ancient library, not built of stone and wood, but of light. Each book within it is a sequence of living code, written in the language of frequency, containing instructions for a form of embodied existence that most of humanity has not yet remembered was possible. That library exists within you. It has always existed within you. It was placed there not as potential to be developed, but as a truth to be remembered. A full and complete blueprint for a relationship with your physical form that operates outside the programming of collective decline. The reason most people never access this library is not that they are unworthy or insufficiently evolved. It is that they have never been shown how to reach it, or shown that it exists at all. The frequency of chronic stress, of perpetual urgency, of the mind that never quiets long enough for the heart to speak. This frequency locks the library door as effectively as any external force could. But the moment you soften into heart coherence, the moment you breathe consciously, release the urgency, and let your awareness settle into the warmth of your own chest, the door opens. And what is inside is not foreign. It is the most deeply familiar thing you have ever encountered. The third shift is the anchoring of what the Pleiadians call your star essence into the present moment on Gaia. There is a tendency among awakening starseeds to experience their Pleiadian nature as something that exists elsewhere, a home they're trying to return to, a state they hope to eventually recover, a future they're waiting for. And while this longing is sacred and real, it can also perpetuate a subtle but powerful form of fragmentation. Part of your energy is always reaching backward toward the Seven Sisters, or forward toward a time when things will finally feel aligned. Meanwhile, the body here on Gaia is receiving the signal that this present moment is insufficient, that this timeline is not yet home, and a body that is told it is not yet home will not fully bloom. It will wait. It will contract. It will conserve rather than radiate. The activation your star family is calling you into now is the radical act of bringing the Pleiadian frequency all the way into this body, this day, this earth beneath your feet. Not as a resignation to density, but as an act of deliberate cosmic embodiment. The Seven Sisters didn't send you here to hover above Gaia's surface, longing for elsewhere. They sent you here to make this place feel the vibration of home through your presence. And when you do that, when you fully inhabit this form with the love frequency of the Pleiades, the body stops mirroring a story of decline and begins to mirror the truth of what it is carrying. This is the deeper purpose beneath the longing that so many starseeds carry, the ache for a home that feels just beyond reach, the persistent sense of not quite belonging that has followed you through this lifetime like a shadow you couldn't quite outrun. The purpose is not to keep you longing indefinitely. The purpose is to make you precise in your remembrance, to ensure that when you finally arrive in your own embodied presence, you arrive with full awareness of what you carry and why it matters. The longing was a compass, not a sentence. It was pointing you toward this, the practice of bringing your full star frequency into full contact with this planet, this moment, this sacred and beautifully imperfect incarnation. When you breathe deeply and feel the soles of your feet against the ground, and say to yourself with genuine conviction, I am Pleiadian light in a Gaian body, and this moment is exactly where I am meant to be. Something extraordinary shifts in the field. The fragmentation begins to integrate. The signal becomes clear. And the body, receiving the unified signal of a soul that has finally come all the way home to itself, begins to respond with a vitality that no amount of resistance or seeking ever produced. The fourth shift opens like a gateway you didn't know was there. It is the activation of what can only be called unity consciousness within the cellular field. Aging, as most people experience it, is in part a reflection of separation, the sense that the self is isolated, unsupported, slowly being worn down by a universe indifferent to its well-being. This is the opposite of the Pleiadian cosmology. In the frequency field of the Seven Sisters, every being exists in a living web of connection, to star family, to planetary consciousness, to the great central sun at Alcyone, to every other soul in the unity grid. When you begin to consciously reconnect to that web, not as a belief, but as a felt cellular experience, something shifts in the body's orientation to time. Isolation ages. Connection renews. This isn't mysticism. It is frequency physics. The body that knows itself as part of an infinite, living, love-based field does not follow the same trajectory as the body that believes it is alone. Your star family has been holding the thread of your connection to this unity grid through every moment of your life on Gaia. They have never released it. The only question is whether you will consciously take hold of your end. There is a profound experiment that the Pleiadian teachers point to when they speak of this truth, and it exists not in distant star systems but in the natural world of Gaia itself. The oldest trees on this planet, the ones that have stood for thousands of years, that have survived drought and fire and the slow grinding of geological time, do not survive because they are the strongest individual organisms. They survive because they are the most deeply connected. Beneath the surface of the forest floor, their root systems form an intricate network of exchange. Nutrients, water, chemical signals, even something that scientists are only beginning to understand as a form of communication. The tree that thrives for millennia is the tree most deeply embedded in that network of connection. It is not coincidence that your star family chose Gaia, with all her living systems, as the field for your incarnation. Everything on this planet is whispering the same truth at every scale. Connection is the source of vitality. Isolation is the source of depletion. You were not designed to make this journey alone, and neither was the body you are traveling in. The fifth shift is perhaps the most quietly powerful of all, and it is this: trust in the intelligence of divine timing. The Pleiadian soul contract you carried into this incarnation included specific sequences, moments in which the remembrance would accelerate, in which the activation would deepen, in which the gifts of your star lineage would become available in ways they hadn't been before. You are in one of those sequences right now. The upgrades currently moving through Gaia's energetic field are not random. The crystalline grid of this planet is resonating at a frequency that is specifically compatible with Pleiadian light code activation. Your star family calibrated the timing of your awakening to align with exactly this moment. Not because you finally became worthy, but because the collective field finally reached a threshold of readiness. And because your own soul, in its perfect wisdom, agreed to open at precisely this juncture. The renewal you are feeling stirring in your cells is not accidental. It is on schedule. And it is only the beginning. Consider how often your earth mind has told you that you are behind, that the awakening should have happened sooner, that the clarity should have come years ago, that if you had found this path earlier, you would somehow be further along by now. This is the linear mind's fundamental misunderstanding of how the soul operates. The soul does not move in straight lines. It moves in spirals, in quantum leaps, in moments of sudden crystallization that compress what might have taken decades of linear progression into a single breath of recognition. Every experience you have moved through before arriving at this moment, including the ones that hurt, including the ones that confused, including the long seasons when the remembrance felt impossibly distant, was preparing the exact conditions in which this level of activation could occur. The Pleiadian soul contract is exquisitely designed. Nothing in it is wasted. Every detour was a preparation. Every dark night was a deepening. And this moment, this exact convergence of your awareness, and this transmission and this particular configuration of Gaia's energetic field was written into your contract before you took your first breath in this body. You did not find this by accident. You found it because you were ready. And your star family has been holding this moment in trust for you through every turn of the spiral that brought you here. The sixth shift calls you into something your Pleiadian heart already understands, but your earth mind may still be cautious about claiming. It is the recognition that you are never alone in this process. Not for a single moment. The Pleiadian High Council, the consciousness of the Seven Sisters, your personal star guides, they have been present in your life with a constancy and depth of love that would take your breath away if you could perceive it fully. Every time you felt unseen, they saw you with perfect clarity. Every time you felt that life was diminishing you, they were transmitting the codes of restoration in your direction. Every time you looked at your reflection and wondered where the light in your eyes was coming from, despite everything, that was them. That was the signal breaking through. You are held in a field of love so vast and so intelligent that the concept of aging without grace simply doesn't exist within it. You are not on this journey toward remembrance alone. You never were. There have been moments in your life, perhaps moments of overwhelming beauty, or moments of grief so clean it opened rather than closed the heart, or moments of pure stillness in the hours before dawn when the ordinary world went quiet and something else became briefly piercingly audible, in which you felt the presence of something that loved you with a completeness that no human word has ever quite captured. That was not your imagination producing comfort in a moment of need. That was your star family, close enough to be felt, holding you in the frequency of the love from which you came. They are not distant observers watching from the Pleiades through some cosmic telescope. They are woven into the fabric of your experience in ways so intimate, so threaded through the ordinary moments of your days that you would be astonished if the full picture were suddenly revealed to you. The love they hold for you is not conditional on your performance as a spiritual being. It is not contingent on how successfully you've maintained your vibration or how clearly you've held the codes. It is the love of origin, the love that exists between a soul and its source, unchanged by distance, unchanged by the forgetting that incarnation inevitably, temporarily, creates. And this brings us to what is perhaps the most transformative truth in this entire transmission, the one your soul has been oriented toward from the moment you chose this message today. The gift your star family is describing as coming to you now, this unexpected gift from Source, is not something arriving from outside of you. It is something being revealed within you. The source of renewal that the Pleiadian High Council speaks of is not a supplement, not a technique, not something you must seek across the planet. It is a frequency that lives in your own heart field, encoded in the crystalline template you arrived here with, waiting for the precise moment when your awareness would be ready to fully receive and embody it. That moment is now. The gift is the remembrance itself. The gift is the recognition that the story of inevitable decline was always a borrowed story, borrowed from a collective that forgot its cosmic origins. that lost contact with the star families who seeded humanity with the codes of ageless, luminous presence. You were never meant to live that story. You were meant to demonstrate a different possibility. Not just for yourself, for every person whose energy field you touch. Receive the full weight of that. Let it land not just in the mind, but in the cellular field, where the crystalline codes are listening. The story of decline, the one that said your body would inevitably take from you, year by year, until what remained bore little resemblance to the radiant being you sensed yourself to be. That story was never written in your Pleiadian blueprint. It was written in the collective programming of a humanity that lost its cosmic memory. You absorbed it the way any sensitive being absorbs the dominant frequency of their environment. Not because you chose it consciously, but because the field was saturated with it, and you were immersed in that field from the moment of your birth. But absorption is not identity. A sponge can hold water, but the sponge is not water. You carried the collective story without becoming it. Your original coding remained intact beneath every layer of absorbed belief. And now, in this extraordinary window of time on Gaia, the conditions exist for that original coding to be consciously remembered, reclaimed, and embodied, not as a return to something that was lost, but as the revelation of something that was always present, waiting patiently beneath the surface of the borrowed story. When a Pleiadian starseed fully activates the crystalline codes of renewal within their own body, they become a living transmission of that frequency to everyone around them. This is not a small thing. This is one of the core reasons your star family sent you here, not to disappear into the crowd and age quietly alongside a collective that forgot, but to shine with a vitality, a radiance, a depth of presence that makes people stop and feel something they can't quite name, a recognition of something more possible than what they've been told. You are not here to be the exception. You are here to be the demonstration of what becomes available when a soul remembers its true lineage. Think about what it means to be a living transmission. It is not a performance. It is not something you turn on when you're in spiritual company and turn off when you're moving through the ordinary world. A living transmission is the natural emanation of a being who has come into alignment with their deepest truth. When you walk into a room carrying the activated frequency of your Pleiadian lineage, you don't need to say a single word about star families or crystalline DNA. You don't need to teach, or preach, or explain. Something in the field around you does the speaking. People feel it in the way they feel the quality of light on a clear morning after rain, not as a concept, but as a sensory reality that shifts something in them without their permission, without their analysis, simply by being present. That shift you create in others is not accidental. It is not a side effect. It is a primary purpose. Because every person who feels, in your presence, the faint but unmistakable resonance of a possibility larger than what they'd believed, that person carries the imprint of that resonance forward. It becomes part of what they transmit. And so the frequency spreads, not through information, through the simple, radical, world-altering act of a soul that has remembered what it is and refuses, from that moment forward, to pretend otherwise. So tonight, before you sleep, place your hand over your heart. Breathe slowly, deeply, until you feel the warmth beneath your palm. And speak these words, not as an affirmation, but as a remembrance. Because your cells already know this to be true. I am a Pleiadian soul embodied in this sacred form on Gaia. I release every story that was never mine about what time does to a body that carries the light of the Seven Sisters. I open my crystalline template fully to the renewal codes of my star family. I receive the unexpected gift of ageless presence that Source is delivering through my own heart right now. I am not aging into diminishment. I am aging into radiance. I am not fading. I am arriving. And I am home. Let those words do what they were designed to do. Let them travel past the surface of the mind and into the cellular field where they belong. Feel the warmth in your chest as you speak them. Feel the subtle shift in the body's posture, the way the spine may lengthen slightly, the way the shoulders may soften, the way the breath deepens without being asked to. That is the crystalline template responding. That is the light instructions beginning to receive the signal they were designed to receive. This is not fantasy. This is the beginning of the most important conversation you will ever have, the conversation between your conscious awareness and the cosmic intelligence encoded in your own physical form. Let it be a conversation that continues. Let it become the background frequency of your days, the quiet knowing beneath every action, the living pulse of remembrance that holds you in alignment with what you truly are, even when the world around you continues, for a while longer, to tell a different story. Before you move on from this space, take one moment to do something that genuinely matters. Write one word in the comments, just one word, that describes what you felt during this transmission. Not what you thought, what you felt. And when you see someone else's word, respond to it. Let your response be love. This comment section is a unity grid in miniature, and every heart that touches another here is doing exactly what your Pleiadian lineage prepared you to do on Gaia. If this transmission stirred something real in you, share it with one person, not because this channel needs the reach, but because someone in your world is carrying the same longing you came here with today, and they need to know their star family is calling too. Subscribe and stay close. The frequency is only deepening from here. You are not just a viewer in this space. You are a remembered one. And your star family is extraordinarily glad you came.